Hello and welcome back. Today I'm joined by the lovely Olivia Lane. Hello.
Hello there. I'm so happy to be hanging out.
Happy you're here too, all the way in Nashville. How are things out there?
We're doing just fine out here. It's been an interesting weather situation. Everybody's kind of like we've been having a lot of sort of tornado warnings, and I think a lot of
Okay.
people are very like having a little PTSD from last year. It's just been 2020 into 2021. I think we all need a break. We
Yeah,
just all need a break.
pretty much. That is probably the best way to put it. So what have you been up to? How can you best describe how you've been up to? What you've been up to?
Oh goodness. I have been up to enjoying a routine, which is really weird to say. I was just talking with some other friends and I was saying, well, my life is so chaotic as a musician. It's new every single day. You're in a new city or you're dealing with a new situation or you're in rehearsal dealing with a new song. I mean, everything is just kind of chaos when you are creative. So I've just been really enjoying settling into a routine. It's going to be really weird going back into life where you're touring again and it's total chaos.
Yeah.
But I've just been hanging out with my friends and hanging out with my family and just, getting rerouted in all of my relationships here in Nashville. So it's been a nice break for sure.
Obviously the break has obviously been maybe come at a time when maybe you might not wanted a break, but that's obviously because of COVID and everything happening. You had COVID yourself, didn't you? How
I
was that as an
did.
experience?
Yes, I did have it. I had it right when the safer at home went into place, which no one had any idea what was going on. I was basically a leper. Like everyone was like, "Oh no!" But a lot of my friends reached out and they're like, "Olivia, I didn't think it was real until you had it." And I was like, "Well, I'm glad I could spread some awareness that this is actually a real virus."
Yeah.
And yeah, it honestly felt like a something between a flu and I don't really even know. It was a very weird virus. Like I would go for a walk and I would all of a sudden just be winded and couldn't I had to go home because I just felt so nauseous and sick. And
Yeah.
then some days it was like a head cold. So I don't know. I lost my taste and smell for about 2 months and that was terrible. So that was probably the worst of it.
What
But it's, yeah, it's affecting everybody differently, which is so scary. But
yeah, no,
vaccine, yay!
woo!
Woo!
I was gonna say, what did you like miss? Because obviously you still had to eat. What did you miss in terms of like the taste of food that you were missing?
Well, so what's interesting is that junk food is only good because you can taste it.
Yeah.
So I, so I went to fast food like 6 weeks after I was in the clear. Me and a friend went to Chick-fil-A, and I couldn't taste anything, and I was like, "This is garbage. This sucks." But so I was eating like raw broccoli stalks because I just couldn't taste anything.
Fair enough.
Lost a little weight, that COVID diet.
Got to weigh it up, haven't you? You got to weigh it up.
Yeah. So that was the worst part. But
Yeah.
there's so many other people who are struggling a lot worse than I had it. So I'm very blessed and grateful that it wasn't worse.
Yeah. Hopefully we're on the other end of it now. Fingers crossed we're getting there.
Hmm.
Fingers crossed. So let's talk music then. Go right to the start. Where did your music sort of inspire you? What sort of inspired you with your music?
Yeah, that was another silver lining of 2020 and the pandemic. I just had time to really think about this next body of work, this next round of music that I am coming out with. And I had time to get in the studio because me and my producer, in the craziness that this last year was, we both got COVID at the exact same time. So we're not sure who gave it to who or if we were completely unrelated. We're not
Seven
sure.
fingers.
I know. We were just like, it's okay. But we realized like what kept us sane was going into the studio and just being together. Like we kept it so like no one else was allowed. It was just us once after we had healed. And we just got to create music, which was incredible. And it's some of the music that's on my new record coming out this summer. And that was also a huge just relief for me because I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm struggling right now because I don't know how to be creative during this pandemic, which is why I started my podcast. But that's a story for another time. But yeah, this new body of music is so reflective of this pandemic year and having time to just sit and really think about who I am as an artist and where I want to go and what I want to say. So, new album coming out this year. Yay!
Exciting times. Well, I was going to mention the album. I will get to that, but I'm not going to let you off lightly because you've had a little fun with TikTok, haven't you?
Oh my goodness. TikTok is such a fun app. It is so amazing. It makes Instagram look sleepy. I love TikTok. I think everything in my life has been leading me up to being successful on TikTok. With my acting background, going to school for theater, like it's just all of these pieces are starting to add up to TikTok. And I've had my first little like taste of viral success on TikTok. I had this video pop off and like I got 80,000 followers in like 2 days,
That is
which is
huge.
insane. Which
Yeah,
is insane. Like
yeah,
it's crazy. But it's amazing for musicians, especially independent musicians like myself. We struggle to get our music on big playlists and radio because we just don't have the money, we don't have the relationships, but we're able to build our fan bases and we don't need a middleman. We don't need the radio per se to give us new fans. But
yeah.
it's just such a cool I just any artist listening out there, try to figure out TikTok for yourself because it's a wild west app right now. It's so easy to build fans and they're dedicated. That's what's awesome about it.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, go check out my TikTok. It's hilarious. It's I'm crazy, so I just put my craziness out there. Why not?
I think it's just so it's one of those things that everyone's just jumped on because obviously everyone's been at home, so it's
Mhm.
kind of like the most creative everyone has ever been, but also the least creative everyone has ever been as well.
Literally, seriously, it's forced me to be creative in other ways, which I'm glad it did. A lot of musicians had to figure out what they could do to keep themselves creative during this time, and artists in general. But it forced us to, do Zoom co-writing or be creative in other ways that keep our creative muscle moving, but not necessarily songwriting or producing.
Yeah,
So it's TikTok was one of mine, and I'm so glad I did it because I'm almost at 150,000 followers.
that's big.
Amazing. My goal is to get to 1 million by the end of the year. We'll see what happens.
We fingers crossed, we'll get there. We'll get there. Now another thing was I was obviously looking on YouTube and things like that, and I saw a video from a couple of years ago of a behind the scenes thing you did for the music video for the Cape,
Oh
and
yeah.
you went into the fridge and you got out a drink, and I was like, oh my god, that drink literally reminds me of school. Capri Suns I had at school, honestly, and I was like, this is amazing.
It's a song about literally going back to childhood and
Yeah,
wondering where did that power go when I was kid? Where did that fearlessness go? And I opened the fridge on set, and this was toward the end of the day too. I was like, I've been sitting on a gold mine, a fridge full of Capri Sun for the last 6 hours, and I didn't know. It was unbelievable. I was like, I'm tired. Coffee's not going to do anything. I need a straight sugar kick
yeah,
right now. Capri Sun.
that is the absolute dream. Like,
The dream. Like Lunchables and Capri Suns, like
oh,
all the prepackaged, just sugary crap that we used to eat as children.
yeah.
How did we survive? I'm not sure,
I know
but we
that
did.
is honestly Lunchable, Capri. What?
Pop
Oh,
Tarts. I mean,
yeah,
Lucky Charms. All the stuff that's literally pure sugar. I'm like, how did I make it through school and
yeah.
not? I don't know.
It's weird because obviously we're over here we don't get as much as the treats that you have in America, and
Yeah.
selected times are because it's quite expensive to buy over here, to
Mm.
like Twinkies and all that sort of stuff. So on Super Bowl night I do treat myself. Have to say.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for
I
you.
would
I
say.
know we always joke, it's like over in other parts of the world, we don't have like these weird names like sodium biphosphate, la 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 on our food. Like in London, for example, at the train stations, it just says chicken. Like it just says like what like
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't understand why here in America we have so much anyway.
yeah,
Go on a whole rant, but it's
exactly.
yeah.
It is
Y'all's
funny.
food is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
It, yeah.
So let's talk Devils then, because there's a theme in your songs because you released Devil and You. and now you've released I Let the Devil In.
I know.
Is there who's the devil? I just had to ask.
What is going on in Olivia Lane's world? I know. It's crazy. You know, it's really funny to see my early music, like 2016 compared to now, and the growth that I've done as an artist. I started releasing music in 2015, which is amazing. So crazy, but I've grown so much as a person. And for me, I had a pretty intense spiritual shift in my life about 2018. I was an atheist and I became a believer in Jesus Christ. So singing about the devil back then and listening to Devil in You is so different than the experience of listening to I Let the Devil In.
Yeah.
And seeing that, I think God is making me see this progression of who I've become and how I've grown and how I've become rooted in Him. But I think we all have our demons that we battle, right? We all have things that we're up against, whether it's sitting next to a guy in a car and going maybe a little bit too far, or being tempted to do that, or negative self-talk that you have, or scrolling social media and starting to compare yourself, or some people are have issues with alcohol. We all have that thing that we battle with, and that's kind of what the devil is for me. It's just whatever your demons are, whatever is the thing that you struggle with the most. And it's going for that progression of like, I don't have a choice in the matter in Devil in You, like it's just happening, to, oh my goodness, I'm so aware of all the demons I've started to let into my holy space, like my mind and my heart, that don't belong there. Like they're living rent free in my mind, but I have the power to get them out. I have the power, and I just invited it on in and was like, come on in, let's have a drink. Let's, like, misery loves company. Yeah. And that's really what I Let the Devil In is about. It's like, oh my goodness, I need God. I need to clear out my mind and my heart of all this negative self-talk. So it's really interesting to see the progression of my music between those two songs specifically.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously it's very noticeable, and I think I Let the Devil In is quite an honest and very pure track. Is that sort of what you wanted to get across?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm gonna I feel like I used to be loud and look at me, like even in my vocal tone you can tell it's a little bit louder, a little bit more abrasive. And I've kind of morphed into this, like, along the way, You Got Me, Hey 3 a.m., all of these songs became a little bit softer and more intimate. And that's where I really feel like I am now. I'm just kind of like, hey, I just want to invite you into my music. I don't want to scream at you. Just come sit by the campfire. Let's, like, have a fun time listening to Olivia's music, but no pressure. And I think that's a better way to be, a more, hey, I'm just inviting you to come into my world, instead of screaming at you saying you must be in my world. And I just feel more rooted. I feel more, I don't know, honoring multiple parts of myself versus just this one specific thing.
Yeah. So you've also got the single out. Big thing happening in the summer then. The big one's coming out. How excited are you?
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. This album, I'm going in to cut more songs for it because I was like, I just can't stop. Like, I want more music to be on this record because I just feel so in my groove right now. And it's funny to see things in my life starting to align. Like, I just signed with an acting agency, and that was a dream that I had 10 years ago. Moved to Los Angeles, tried to pursue acting, and it just never worked out. And God was like, nope, because it's going to work out because you need to go get your music all set up first. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Totally makes sense. But it's just, I'm so excited for this next round of music.
Yeah. So obviously 2021 is going to be a big year for you.
I hope so. I mean, I hope the music coming out is, people are going to love it, but then I can't wait to tour the record, which hopefully beginning of 2022, fingers crossed, I'll be able to get back to the UK.
Amazing. Is that the plan then? Come over to the UK, everywhere else you want to tour as well?
Yes, absolutely. Like, I want to start coming to the UK twice a year. I want to expand into Europe too and go to some different places. And I just love it over there. I mean, my music is really an excuse to come over and just hang out with you guys. Like,
What is
you know?
yeah? What would you say is like your favorite like part of London, of the UK? Like where have have you explored before here?
You know, I feel like driving in the backcountry. Like the cities are great, but going to all the towns in between
Mm.
and the towns on the outskirt, you're just like, wow, I don't know what I'm standing on, but I know I'm standing on much older history than where I live. And it's
Yeah,
just, you know, like it's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous over there. The people are wonderful. You guys consume music differently than we do here in America. Like there's a deeper um, need to understand the lyrics and a little bit about why the song was written. So there's a different cultural consumption as far as music. So
yeah,
that's really really cool because
yeah,
that's as musicians we're like we live in the deep waters, you know, we want to get deep.
yeah. No,
So yeah, it's just it's different and it's gorgeous.
that's interesting. It obviously shows in the questions I asked then, because obviously about where the song came from and that sort of thing. Do you see a difference in the crowds as well?
Oh yeah. I'll never forget my first tour. I was like, I think I was playing Manchester
Mm.
and the jet lag hit
Yeah,
hard, like real hard.
yeah,
Like I think I might have forgotten my own name. Like I don't know what happened during that show, but by the end of it, like I just had the people like in uproar laughing because I was such a Looney Tune. But at the beginning of the show, I would play a song and I would make a joke or something and like no one would laugh. And I
yeah,
was like, this is weird because this joke always lands. I don't know what's going on. Um, and I was like, as soon as I like maybe the second or third song, I think I forgot a song title or something. And or I don't know what I did, but I was like embarrassed and I was like, guys, you guys can laugh at me. It's okay. Like this is all part of the show. And as soon as I gave people permission to laugh at
yeah,
me, everybody was being so proper and so like, oh, we don't want to make her feel bad. We don't want to laugh at her. That's wrong. And I was like, no,
yeah,
no, no. That's part of the show. You need to laugh at me. I need this. This is what I need from you. And as soon
mm,
as I gave them permission, everybody was just, you know, they were free to let their emotions out. But that's
yeah,
also a difference I noticed. Everybody is very reserved. And
mm,
so I feel like I have
yeah,
to give permission sometimes. Like, no, 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 you can like clap and yell and it's all good. Because here in America, people are wild. They're
yeah.
looking for an excuse to just be
Yeah,
loud.
no, yeah, I think that's pretty well summed up, to be fair. Because even at school, it's like when a teacher asks like a question and no one wants to put their hand up. That's,
Yeah.
that's what it's like.
Hmm.
It is funny. It is funny. What
It's cool.
one last thing as well. Obviously, you got your podcast. Mention that quickly. That's been happening for you in the last 2020. Obviously, that started. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the podcast is called Living Instead, and it's based on my song Living Instead, which came out during 2020, right in the thick of the pandemic. And I think a lot of people needed to hear that message. I know I needed to. And really, it's all about get out of your head and start living your life instead. Stop letting your thoughts control being in the present moment. And it's remarkably hard to be in the present moment. And that's why I love podcasts because you can just sit for 30 minutes, an hour, and just be totally in the moment with the conversation that's going on. And I'd always wanted to do a podcast. So I was like, what can I be doing to keep my fans engaged with what's going on in my world? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to interview all the people that helped me along the way when I started to lose my voice and I had to really deconstruct my entire world and rebuild it in a healthy way. So I interviewed my vocal coach, I interviewed my trainer, I interviewed my stylist, I interviewed just so many people who really were there for me in a really dark time in my life. And it just kind of spiraled into like, wow, everybody has an amazing story. Like, it doesn't matter where you've been or what you've been through. Like, everybody's had their challenges or their demons, and they've had to be able to rise above it, or they've had to conquer it, or they've had, you know, a valley and then they got to the mountaintop. So everybody has their process of how they take care of themselves. And it's really, really interesting. It's really fascinating. The more I talked to people, I was like, wow, that's incredible. Like, and inspiring. So I'm trying to figure out season 3 right now, but season 1 and 2 are out there, and we talked to some amazing people like Mickey Guyton, and Maggie Rose, these incredible artists, and then all the way to people who are, cultural peacemakers like Barb Schmidt, and her Instagram is Peaceful Barb, and it's just all about positivity and inspiration. So yeah.
Olivia, it's you've got a lot going on, so good luck with it all, with the single, with the album, and hopefully we'll see you over here in the UK very soon. It's been an
Yeah,
absolute pleasure to chat to you. Before I lose my voice, it's been a pleasure to chat to you. Thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I'll get out to Nashville soon as well.
absolutely. Thank you so much.